Hello ladies and gents, this is AI Tele video. I like AI Tele video because of the graphs and detail animation that he makes. And this is about, obviously, this only topic that's been circulating everywhere. Another video, I guess, about how Iran attacked, quotation marks, not on the title, but I'm saying it, how Iran attacked 3 US destroyers by channel AI Tele. It's gonna be awesome. Let's watch this one. Why US stations 3 destroyer? Because of the freedom operation, something, right? Like because of the escort mission.
Why did the US station 3 destroyers in the most dangerous waterway on Earth? Well, the answer is simple. It uses deception tactics. But it's all because of Iran's mosquito boats. These fast, tiny vessels are notoriously hard to find and track, making it almost impossible to trace an attack back to its source. But that's not the only problem. According to the CIA, Iran has massive stockpiles of anti-ship missiles hidden deep underground, and they pose a serious threat. So how did the US finally manage to track down these boats and hidden bases? They set a trap. They essentially let the boats attack their ships just long enough to
Wait, can you hear the construction? Wait a second. Oh, there you go.
trace their origins. The moment the attack happened, the US had already pinpointed the source. What followed was a massive coordinated strike. Air tankers scrambling from Allied bases, fighter jets launching off US carriers, and destroyers unleashing a barrage of cruise missiles, all working together to obliterate the source of the attack.
It was a
How did
bait.
the US use deception in the Strait of Hormuz? The US had a major problem on its hands. Swarms of mosquito boats were constantly harassing their forces. They would come from nowhere, launch rockets at Navy ships, and they then disappear. So, they came up with a crazy new idea. They were going to invite an attack on their own destroyers.
Nobody talked about this. This was a bait. So US are literally like, you know what, I'm tired of these speedboats. Keep coming here to annoy me. I do have an Aegis system. I do intercept all the missiles, but it's annoying. So let's create a bait so they come out and we destroy them, which they apparently did. That's insane.
This is phase 1 of the deception. Under the banner of Project Freedom, the Navy sent 3 Arleigh Burke-class destroyers, the Truxtun, the Peralta, and the Mason, directly into the Lion's Den. This wasn't your standard patrol, it was a deliberate trigger. While they might have looked like easy targets, these ships were actually backed by a massive, invisible shield made up of over a dozen early warning radar aircraft flying high above, constantly monitoring where the next attack would come from. Well, the mission was simple. Wait for Iran to take the bait, and then completely dismantle their ability to fight back. This is phase 2. As soon as the Iranians launched their attack, US spy satellites tracked the trajectories back to their exact sources. The military now knew exactly where the strikes had originated. Qeshm Island, the closest launch point for drones and boats. Bandar Abbas, the nerve center for the entire IRGC Navy. Bandar Kamar and Sirak, coastal sites used to fire the very missiles that had just been intercepted. As soon as they identified the sources, they activated Phase 3. This is how it started. Multiple Stratotankers departed from Al Dhafra Air Base in the UAE. FA-18 Super Hornets.
Phase 3 initiated. Every board suddenly stopped flying. Air changed the texture. Like, wait a minute, what's happening? Oh my God, Americans are coming. Here comes a barrage of bombs and bombers and fighter planes.
Flying from the USS Abraham Lincoln were the active carrier-based strike platforms being used in the Strait of Hormuz area during this entire operational period, and the same aircraft type would have participated in the strikes on Bandar Abbas and Qeshm on May 7. Carrier strike group assets deployed to CENTCOM included the US Abraham Lincoln and its carrier air wings, which support F-35C Lightning II and FA-18E Super Hornet fighters, cruise missiles, and other aircraft. But did the destroyers just sit around as bait as reported? Well, the most impressive part of the bait and respond doctrine was that the destroyers were doing 2 things at once. While their radars were locked on incoming Iranian missiles, their decks were launching Tomahawk cruise missiles of their own.
I like how the concept of like destroyer, it's in the name. This is like in the movie, some badass warrior is sitting there as a bait and everybody's like, ah, we got him. Really, you got him? You got the John Wick that's sitting there? Or did he got you?
First target is Qeshm Island. It sits directly inside the Strait of Hormuz and is one of the most strategically important Iranian positions in the waterway. During the exchange of fire between the Iranian armed forces and the U.S., parts of the commercial area of the Bam and Kejim were targeted. This is Target 2, Bandar Abbas, Iran main naval hub. Bandar Abbas is the epicenter of Iranian naval operations around the Strait of Hormuz and had already been struck repeatedly during Operation Epic Fury in February. This is target number 3, the Bandar Kamir and Sirik. These are coastal towns.
Bandar just means port. So just say the name, port something, Port Abbas and things like that.
In Hormozgan province on Iran's southern coast, directly overlooking the Strait of Hormuz. They serve as IRGC naval staging and launch points for fast attack craft and drone missile operations targeting the waterway.
He didn't play Nissan Skyline engine music. I was hoping for that.
The U.S. Navy then uses these jets to strike Iranian ports. Here is Target 4, Bandar Kargan Naval Checkpoint. Located in Mina, approximately 50 miles east of Bandar Abbas, this facility is used by the IRGC to monitor and intercept vessel movements. This is Strait of Hormuz. It's a massive global choke point, handling roughly 20% of the world's daily oil supply. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps threatening that not even a single leader will reach their enemies. But how do you actually pull that off, especially when your Navy has just lost more than 50 of its prized warships? The answer is simple. You go old school. You bring back World War II-style tactics. Enter the Mosquito fleet. Instead of relying on massive, easy-to-target destroyers, the IRGC Navy uses a swarm of fast inshore attack craft. We're talking about incredibly quick, small fiberglass boats, classes like the Ashura, the Turek, and heavily modified Bog Hammer speedboats. But how do these speedboat attack U.S. warship? The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps Navy operates hundreds of small, fast attack craft armed with heavy machine guns, rockets, and anti-ship missiles. The tactic here is simple, but deadly.
They attacked destroyers by interrupting them. Everybody was having a feast. Everybody was eating food and enjoying and hearing music, but now they have to go to battle station. That's how they attacked. Because there's no real threat anyway. Like, yeah, okay. I guess a destroyer is being attacked by a speedboat. Yeah, great.
Instead of trying to fight a U.S. destroyer one-on-one, which they would lose, they deployed dozens of small boats simultaneously from every direction.
Which also they would lose.
The goal is to overwhelm the U.S. ship's defensive systems, like the Phalanx, by presenting more targets than the ship can track and destroy at once. And they don't stop at military hardware. They actively deploy dual-use craft. To the untrained eye, these look like everyday fishing dhows or commercial trawlers, but underneath, they're secretly outfitted for covered military ops. So how exactly do these tiny boats deploy heavy naval mines? Since they are dedicated, large-scale mine layers, you won't find any high-tech, automated track systems here. Their methods are incredibly low-tech, but in a tight bottleneck like the Strait of Hormuz, they are lethally effective. It usually comes down to the stern drop method. The mines are simply strapped to the back deck of a small boat. Once they get their target coordinates, the crew literally just rolls or pushes these massive explosives right off the stern and into the water. Some of the slightly larger boats might have basic metal rails to help slide them off, but really that's about it.
They attack US destroyers with mine? Like, this is more of a passive thing, isn't it? Like, in advance, you put the mines on, go away. When you're swarming the destroyers, you can't attack them with mines. What is this, video game?
This bare-bones setup is absolutely perfect for hit-and-run tactics. The whole strategy relies on speed and stealth. A small speedboat can dart right into the busy shipping lanes, hide under the cover of darkness, or just blend in with regular civilian traffic. They drop 2 or 3 mines in a matter of seconds and then floor it back to the safety of the Iranian coastline, long before heavy US warships can even get a lock on them. And the weapons themselves. These little boats are tapping into an estimated Iranian stockpile of anywhere from 2,000 to 6,000 devices. They drop everything from simple contact mines, which float near the surface and explode on impact, to advanced bottom mines. Those sink to the shallow seafloor and just wait, patiently listening to detonate the second they detect the acoustic signature of a passing supertanker. How the US is using the preemptive capability destructions to strike the 16 mine-laying ships. This is strategy 1. Instead of waiting for the mines to hit the water, which would force dangerous mine clearance operations right under enemy fire, the US took action first. They struck the vessels before they could even deploy. It's a textbook preemptive denial strategy. Destroy the enemy's means of attack before they ever get the chance to use it.
And Iran was claiming this was civilian ships. Let's say that's even true. Again, you're the one who created a strategy of using civilian ship as a mask, use it as military thing, right? So now US will afraid of any civilian ship and will take it out. So who did that? You did that, right? So even if US took out a civilian ship, they probably gave out warnings. If the civilian ship didn't have radio, US had to blow them up because can't risk them coming close. You created that environment to use civilian ships, mask them as civilian, as a fisherman boat, and then suddenly, oh, look at that, we were IRGC all along, Scooby-Doo thing. You did that. You can't really blame US Navy. You'll have to be, like, in advance, be wary of that.
Here comes strategy number 2, intelligence coup precision targeting. This strike wasn't a guess. It was the direct result of highly actionable intelligence on Iran's operational plans. The US layered signals intelligence from RC-135, maritime surveillance from P-8 Poseidons, and human intelligence. This allowed them to pinpoint exactly which vessels were the mine layers where they were parked and exactly when they were most vulnerable. That brings us to strategy number 3, striking vessels while moored. Most of these targets were actually docked at the time of the attack. Hitting a stationary ship is infinitely easier, safer, and more precise than hunting down a moving target out on the open ocean. Plus, it completely eliminates the risk of a missed shot causing an unintended...
Actually, small boats, extremely small boats like that, maneuvering is a much bigger problem. If you have the most precise missile in the world, there is a higher chance of it missing it because it can just move around left and right. No missile in the world at that speed can maneuver that fast. So you can have defense against it, like shoot multiple projectiles, one of them will at least hit. But if you're trying to do a surgical strike and destroy them, it's better to do that when they're stationed.
International incident in a heavily trafficked strait. Strategy number 4 is the dual target doctrine. By hitting both the mine-laying vessels and the mine storage facilities at the exact same time, the operation guaranteed that even if replacement boats were available, there wouldn't be any ordnance left to arm them. It's a layered approach designed to maximize the strategic impact of a...
US, you hit my boats. But you didn't think I was clever. I put some boats into the caves. You're just like, yeah, but I destroyed your factory. What bombs? Like, what? Looking behind, there's a smoke cloud. No.
Single coordinated operation. The US didn't just use one weapon. They threw the entire playbook at the Mosquito fleet. They used Hellfire missiles fired from drones against small boats, and launched long-range cruise missiles from Navy destroyers right off the coast. And to finish the job, heavy strategic command bombers dropped massive 2,000-pound, GPS-guided bunker busters to completely wipe out the boats while they were still sitting in their storage facilities. This is a US Central Command comeback footage where a Hellfire missile engaging enemy mine-laying vessels. Pausing on this still image confirms its identity as a Hellfire, a munition frequently deployed from this MQ-9 Reaper drone. This vessel is one of 16 destroyed by this type of munition. It underscores a crucial point. Understanding how these small missiles operate is key to understanding how they turn the tide of a conflict and destroy a small navy with a small drone. Let's take a look inside and see exactly how they fire these missiles. He uses a thumbstick to zoom in on a heat signature, locking onto the target. When he's ready, there's a trigger button just below the joystick. A simple squeeze launches the weapon.
Did he forget to talk about his sponsor? I'm like, wait a minute, I don't remember like seeing that.
Guiding it directly to its intended target. These enemy targets firing at the MQ-9 reappear, clearly lit up on the screen, as you can see here. Even for civilians, there are countless bad actors targeting our computers, which is why...
I guess subconsciously I knew like the way this is changing, the way thing is changing. Yeah, sponsor ad is coming, and I'm like, wait a minute, what about sponsor? But yeah, it was coming now. Yeah, but go to original video page link, and from there support this channel.
Back guarantee. But how did this small missile could successfully track and hit the speedboat? Let's take a look at Hellfire missile tracking and guidance. The AGM-114 Hellfire missile is a precision weapon guided either by semi-active laser or millimeter wave radar. This means it can accurately lock onto and follow targets, even ones moving quickly on water, like a speedboat.
It uses proper 5G, millimeter radar, millimeter waves.
The MQ-9 Reaper drone uses advanced onboard sensors and targeting pods to continuously track the boat, sending real-time information to the missile after it has been launched. The drone's sophisticated systems can calculate the boat's speed, direction, and maneuvers, allowing the missile's guidance to predict where the boat will be and adjust its flight path to hit the target.
Arriving at
Paired
full.
with the MQ-9 Reaper drone's continuous real-time tracking, enable the missile to accurately follow, anticipate, and destroy a fast-moving boat traveling at speeds up to 69 miles per hour. When you add it all up, the U.S. has taken out over 60 warships and submarines in a span of just 10 days. First up is the Jushin. When this Iranian fast attack craft approached a U.S. surface...
Yeah, this is the old thing, I guess. Yeah, there you go, people. I didn't even know this was happening. This is, I'm guessing, one of the recent development. This is literally like 7-8 hours ago. So US literally put traps there. It's a trap. And tried to like weed out where are these missiles are coming from. That doesn't surprise me. I'm like, US will do that. I mean, obviously, because of the ceasefire, they're doing it now. Otherwise, they would have done it much earlier. I was saying that, like, it's you check it, you see it, like, where the missiles are coming from and try to destroy it from Strait of Hormuz, which what they are doing right now. We are laying out trap and all this. This is some next level thing, man. This is straight out of Hollywood. Yeah, I guess when you're working at that level, at that top level, everything looks like Hollywood. All right, well, there you go. If you like my reaction, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.